Hi guys, it's Mrs. Zelvy, and I wanted to take a video to show you kind of the process of moving away from researching and planning your hero trading card into the drafting of the information that goes on the back of it. So what you are looking at right now is one of 4 pages of my notes. Yeah, that's right. I had 4 different questions I wanted to focus on for Coretta Scott King. So I have 4 different pages of notes. This page in particular, I took notes on what type of protests Coretta Scott King participated in during the Civil Rights Movement. So I went to 2 or 3 websites, I did some reading, and I jotted down some notes. I read about her involvement, as you can see, in the Montgomery bus boycott, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 legislation, saw some extra stuff about traveling to Ghana, and then some things that she did after her husband Martin Luther King's death. And I also found some pretty cool quotes at the bottom that I want to put on the front of my trading card. So after I spent some days collecting 4 pages of notes, I moved into marking up the text. So this is a copy of the notes you've just seen. I went back and I reread. I highlighted information that I wanted to include in my draft. Remember that we are drafting 4 different sections of information, and so I definitely want one of the sections on the back of my trading card to be protests that Coretta Scott King participated in. So I highlighted the Montgomery bus boycott, some key parts about it. Notice in that left column I said look for more info. That's when I went to highlight about the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I noticed I didn't have much information. So even though I thought I was ready to draft, when I marked up my notes, I realized I needed a little bit more information here and there. Then I also looked at the information about Ghana and the Martin Luther King Center. I thought, you know, this is interesting, but it really isn't related to what she did in the Civil Rights Movement, so I'm not going to put it in this section on my trading card. And then I kind of boxed in a quote that I definitely want to use as maybe a caption for one of her pictures on the front of the card. So that means looking at these notes, I'm focusing on the protest of the Montgomery bus boycott and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So as you look at this, this is my draft. It's a draft. It's not perfect. But if you look at it, you'll notice I took that information about the Montgomery bus boycott and the Civil Rights Act, and I have it in here. Probably when I revise, when I reread this, I might notice I want to have 1 paragraph about the bus boycott and a 2nd paragraph about the Civil Rights Act. That's okay right now. This is just a draft. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be written. Notice I have a topic sentence. Coretta Scott King was more than the wife of a civil rights leader. She was a strong part of protests herself. That topic sentence does not give any details about the boycott or the legislation. It just gives a clue to my reader that this whole section is about her protest involvement. Probably needs a comma. Once again, I'm drafting, I'm not editing, so I can definitely reread this and go back and fix some words, add in some better word choice, add in some punctuation. But that's what I wanted to show you, the process of going from, here are the notes I took. I marked up my notes and decided what I'm going to include, what I'm going to leave out, what I need to do a little bit more research on. And then I drafted that first section. Hope you find this helpful. Good luck drafting.